button.
Broadcast is live, it said.
Is that what it says?
Yes, live.
Yay! That's amazing. Technology is insane.
Yeah. Don't you love it?
I do love it. Well, and I also think that if it wasn't for like a global pandemic, it probably wouldn't have even occurred to me to make a YouTube channel or ask people to come on it or any of that stuff.
Yeah. So, small mercies.
That's right.
Positive thing.
Yeah. So I'm just looking around this little, what I'm seeing. Will we know if other people are watching?
Yeah. I think if we click on the part where it says comments,
okay,
we should be able to, there's private chat and then there's comments, and we should be able to get comments.
Comments. Okay.
So people can jump on and say, hello, I'm here. If anyone's on, say hello. And Ellie yesterday was...
I do in the chat, if you're on, say hello.
Say hello, we'd love to see you.
And then you'll see it. And then anybody else who comes on will be able to see it too?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I can see it.
Great. Okay. So hopefully it's working fine. So I thought maybe we could just start with, talking about, because we're both small YouTubers right now, ready to take over the world.
Yes.
And maybe, I'm really curious just about like how you got started and like what you have been doing with your channel and all of that stuff, because I'm super nosy. We don't have to talk about that if you don't want to.
No, I'm happy to talk about that. Would you like to go first?
No, you go.
Sorry. Okay, well, for those people who are watching who don't know who I am, as it says there, I am Mel from a book fiend named Mel. So I actually started in October last year, so I've been going for just over a year. And
happy anniversary!
Thank you. It's very exciting. So I actually started doing another channel about 6 months before that, which is a teacher parenting advice channel. So that one is called Growing Together. That one's just called Growing Together. I changed the name, that's why I'm confused. Growing Together. So that's, I do a bunch of different things on that channel to do with kids and looking after kids and parenting ideas and development and all of that sort of thing. So I was doing that one, but I just wasn't finding myself that motivated as much as I felt like it was important to tell people about these things. I wasn't really that motivated, and it's not a niche that's particularly easy to find other people to sort of collaborate with and talk with and whatnot. And so it was actually my partner that suggested that I do that. I had originally said I might make a book channel, and then my partner was like, "Why don't you do this instead? Because that's much more like that'd be more useful." But then hardly anyone was watching, so I decided, you know what, making the book, the book channel, and so I started my BookTube channel, and it's been super fun. And still,
do you still do the other one?
Not at the moment, no. I just kind of ran out of motivation, really. It still exists, so it's still there if people want to go and check out all the videos.
Okay.
But I just found that I was really enjoying the BookTube one a lot more than the other one. The other one is, like, I feel like it's an important topic, but it's kind of hard when you're not really feeling like you're getting really that, people aren't getting much out of it. Whereas the book one, like, as you know, you can go on Twitter and chat with everyone, and there's lots of stuff behind the scenes, and lots of
there wasn't as much of like a community around.
Exactly. Yeah. And otherwise, you're yelling into the void. Whereas here,
you know about that.
So the other one still exists, and it's definitely still there to check out. But also I'm a teacher, so I work in that field anyway. So it was kind of like, I don't necessarily want to come home and make a video about all the stuff I've been talking about all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
What about you?
I wonder if the community around some of those things has grown, because I feel like some of the things, because I'm a psychologist, I work with kids too, but I feel like there are a lot of materials and stuff that I find from teachers online now, because people are sharing so many more things online.
Yeah. Well, Pinterest is big with.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I just think YouTube isn't quite the venue for it, whereas putting stuff on Pinterest and going Facebook and
Facebook groups,
yeah. So I'm part of a bunch of local Facebook groups, and I've got loads of things on Pinterest and stuff. So
that's
go
cool.
check those out.
Is it the Learn Together handle on Pinterest?
It's Grow Together, Learn Together on Pinterest.
Grow Together, Learn Together. Yes. Awesome. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. So I had a Facebook page first, and it was mostly about books and also like local. So in Rochester, like going out to restaurants and things like that, because I'm part of the local kind of Yelp community. And then once kind of like the world shut down, there wasn't as much going on with like theater and restaurants and stuff. It became almost all books. And also because I was doing theater and stuff, because I do some community theater too. Without that as a hobby, I was home more in the evening time and, not doing as much stuff. So I was like, well, maybe this is a good time to try the YouTube thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun.
Yeah, cool.
I do. So I'm trying this month to, post once every single day, which I don't know why I decided I was going to do that. Because I had a blog before, and I would do that like for November or October or whatever. And it's so hard. So I missed yesterday, but this counts for today. So that's good.
It does.
Yay. So, I'm glad that we're doing it.
Sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, last year I thought about doing Vlogmas and went, no. And this year, same. First of all, I don't know if I have enough things to say every single day for a month.
Well, and that does seem to be, so I usually do a weekly wrap up, but it's really weird to do a weekly wrap up if you've posted every single day.
Yeah.
I'm like, what else is there to talk about?
You guys already know what I read all week.
Exactly. How often do you do collabs and stuff?
Not super often. So last night I did the live reading with Ellie and Faye from Mystery Date with a Book, and Kat from Stars and Embers, and Joanne from Joanne Notation. So that was part of our readathon. And then I've done a couple with Connor from Connor's Library Corner. So he and I have had one where we chatted about the books we were buddy reading, and then one where we played a game on his channel, one where we played a game on my channel, but they were pre-recorded and then edited. So this is the second time I've gone live, and I've not done it on my own channel, so I might have to do that one day.
One day. Hopefully everything's working on the viewing end, because I don't have any way to check to make sure.
Because Ellie was yesterday.
We're just recording.
Well, it looks like it. It says live, and it's counting down, or counting up, I should say. So.
Oh yeah, that's good clues. I could end the broadcast if I hit a different button, so I'm staying away from that button. So seems like it's working okay. And I got a new microphone, but I figured that trying a bunch of new things all at one time was going to be too overwhelming. Yeah. So have you played the guessing the plot?
No. So I've only seen those videos that I sent you.
Yeah, I've never played it either. But when I was looking for books, though, it's funny because it's really hard to find a book, or it was for me in the books that I have, to find books where it looked like there was anything going on, like, you know, like versus like just a title or just a plain background. I was like, God,
Yeah.
difficult.
And also, I was thinking, I found it really hard too. And partly because I was trying to think of, like, I don't want to pick a book that you've read because then you'll know immediately what it is. But then also, I want to pick a book that anyone watching will vaguely know what it is.
Well, and I didn't even check to see like on your Goodreads if you'd read it or anything. I just figured that like if I should hold one up and you've read it before, you can like try and think about what you would think it was about.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, so you might have read some of these. I did look, but I only scanned. I wasn't super. That's okay. It's all fun.
It's all fun. Yeah. I'm also curious before we start playing the game about kind of like how open you guys are where you are, like what area.
So I'm in Tasmania, which is the island right off the south of Australia.
Okay.
So under Melbourne, basically. And we are an island. So we closed our borders really early. So we had a period in April, May, where we weren't in lockdown. We were in the next one before lockdown. So we weren't allowed to have gatherings of more than X number of people, and we weren't, and all the cafes were all shut down. They were only doing takeout and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So it wasn't lockdown, but we were definitely encouraged to stay home as much as possible, and there were lots of places we couldn't go. So that lasted for about 2 months. So my partner works, he's a software engineer. So he started working from home almost immediately. But I was still working at the school, but the school was most kids weren't there. So they just had a few that were coming in. Mostly essential services children, but yeah, it wasn't shut to only that. So anyway, and then they ended up starting the holidays a week early at the end of that, and end of term 2. And then, and then we were in lockdown for about a month, but we're pretty much back to normal now. Yeah, we've been back to normal because they shut the borders, and because we have a hard border because we're an island. We had a couple of outbreaks during lockdown, but then we were pretty good. And we've probably been about 3 or 4 months where we've pretty much just business as usual, so which is amazing. Are
the borders still kind of being monitored?
Yeah, definitely. They're open now. They only opened about 3 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, so they were shut. The borders were shut even after we came out of lockdown and everything. But the borders were shut for ages because Melbourne had an outbreak, and then Australia had an outbreak. So the Premier kept putting off when we could open. Because of that, I think we managed to. I think we've been like 4 months without any cases really. So we're doing
wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, we're very fortunate. And I want to ask how you're going, but I kind of know that the answer is not great.
Yeah, no, it's not great. For sure, it's not great. So, New York State has had, mandatory masking and, monitoring people coming in and out. And we had lots of other states who were on if you go there, you're quarantined, and like putting the, the caps on the number of people who could be in meetings and stuff. And all the kids went home and went virtual and all that stuff. But lots of the other states didn't do that. And our local numbers have just recently started going back up. So some of the like restaurants and stuff have to like, at least like here, there are certain numbers of feet you have to be between each other and all of that sort of, versus, I was just talking to a friend of mine who is in Arizona, and they don't have any restrictions. Everyone's still up to, up to capacity and all of that stuff, and travel's fine. So I think as all the states get to decide some of the different things that they want to do, and not all the states are kind of on board with it.
Yeah. So
hospitals are going, capacity in the hospitals are like 90%.
Yeah. Yeah, it must be so. We had a national response from the federal government, but then we also had the states had their own decision making. So that's why our premier shut the borders early and kept them shut.
Right.
But then we still had a national response. So
that seems to make all the difference in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no one's quite as good as New Zealand, who went into lockdown like immediately. But we still have all of the travel. So the borders open, but you have to be tested before you come down, and you have to sign all the various waivers
and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Smart.
Yeah, but it must be so frustrating for those people like yourself who do the right thing and, try to stay home and wear the mask and everything, to see people just act like it's nothing.
It is frustrating, yes, but it's also kind of a little bit mind-boggling, because I'm sort of in the middle, because I'm an essential worker, so I leave the house anyway, and all that stuff. So I also am fortunate that I don't feel like I'm locked away anywhere. Like I know a lot of people are very trapped, and I'm not immunocompromised. Like I'm in a pretty good, I don't have little kids, I don't have very old parents, So I'm kind of in a good position. I still get to have a little bit of a life, and we do take out fairly regularly. We've gone to a couple of restaurants at an off time. So like we'll go in and it'll be empty, and then when other people start coming, we leave. But then you have people, and we wear masks everywhere, and we have a mask. And so like it's mind-boggling to think of the people who are like, I'm not going to wear a mask. And you're like, why? But like it's not hurting you.
No.
Let's say it doesn't do anything. Like, well, it's not hurting you to do it. Just do it.
Okay, so maybe it doesn't do anything, but it also doesn't do anything to you. Like you said,
it's not. Like it can only be neutral. Like the worst case snenario is it's neutral, right?
Yeah.
I don't understand all the pushback and and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And like some of the states are like, well, we're just encouraging people who are really at risk for a bad reaction to stay home. Like, so the elderly people and people who are sick should just stay home, and everybody else should be able to do whatever they want. I'm like, well, I don't think that's how public health works. Like,
no, it seems to be a total misunderstanding. Yeah, exactly. Of how it works.
It's really been very just interesting. But also I work in healthcare, so even thinking about people who are anti-vaxxers and people who just don't in general understand health it's really interesting, because we just in last year, I think, just recently made it, New York State just recently made it mandatory for kids to have to be completely vaccinated to start school with no exemption. So it used to be that there were for like religion and some other health related things. And they decided last year, it was like, we're not doing that anymore. It's too big of a risk for everyone else. When the states get to decide, then everybody kind of has different ideas about things. It's interesting.
Yeah,
I hear partner.
Yeah, partner's coming. Waving. I don't think he wants to be live on YouTube.
Hello.
There's a coffee on the coffee table.
Thank you.
That's so nice.
Yeah, I got up and made us coffee, and it's been waiting for him.
What time is it? Is it 10 o'clock where you are? 10:15?
10:15.
Yeah.
On Sunday, so, relax, relax.
Oh, that's right. It's on Sunday. That is so weird. Time is weird.
Yes, time is weird. Agreed.
I'm so glad that you realized that we were thinking about it backwards when you did, because that would have been bad.
It would not have worked. Well, so with our readathon, we have three people from the United Kingdom, one person from the States, and three people from Australia. And I can figure out what time it is for those of us in Australia versus the UK. But as soon as you try and figure out the other person from the United States, I'm like, no, can't do it. Don't know what's going on. It just can't. My brain will not let me.
I don't know. I think we're weird. We're weird. I get it.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. So how should we make this game work?
So I don't know, because do we want to have points or like?
Ooh, we're gonna be for like who's gonna win? How many?
Or do we just want to have a fun guess?
How many books did you pick?
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only got 5.
That's all right. We can just do 5. I just picked 8 because I wasn't sure how many you would have, so I thought more is better.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I think if we go for, I think we should just try it for fun.
Okay.
And mostly because I think if I were trying to win, I would have picked trickier books.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I didn't think about it until just then either. So fair enough. That's okay.
But we can do whatever we want because
it's our
I'm
game.
Still myself as winning if I feel like I won.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you're gonna hold up a book and then I'm gonna try and guess.
Yes.
Okay. You want to go first?
Do you want to go first or shall I?
Oh, you hold up one first.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go for one that is quite a popular booktube one among certain circles, and let's see how we go.
Did you stick with a genre?
No.
Okay. I didn't either. Or maybe I did. I don't think I did. Okay. Oh, I love that book. I'm gonna have to pull out my phone and type in some things. All right. So
yeah, it's true, isn't it?
I'm gonna have to add it to my TBR.
Yeah.
For clues.
It's actually it's the first book in a trilogy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've read. I assume it's a woman. It could be a man. Wrote a different series about Peter Pan? No? Okay, I'm making that up. Okay. I think I'm seeing the flag. I'm seeing a blackbird. I think it's going to be about pirates.
Okay, yeah.
And I assume we can kind of use words.
Sorry?
Like, because Ship of Magic makes me think that probably
holding this.
Yeah, you don't have to keep holding it if you want to. Oh, wait, let me see that. Oh, yeah. So then there's that navigation thing. So definitely pirates. I'm going to guess that it is a, like, I'm trying to think of a famous pirate, like Blackbeard with magical artifacts, and the artifacts have to be returned to like the museum or something so that they don't fall into the wrong hands.
I love that guess. That was an awesome guess.
How did I do?
You did pretty well. It's definitely got pirates in it.
Okay.
And there are magic artifacts, but the magic artifacts are the ships themselves. So the ships are live ships. So they're made of this wood called wizard wood. And after 3 generations of the same family die on their deck, they come alive, and the figurehead comes alive, or sentient, really, I should say, not alive in human way, but yeah. And they can navigate the water a lot better at ships, at being a ship, because they are a ship, so they have, they can do really great navigation and stuff. But there's also pirates in there, and there are it's traders. So the trilogy is called The Live Ship Traders. And the traders who have the live ships have obviously a big advantage because they have ships that are amazing navigators. And yeah, it's the first in a trilogy. It is my favorite fantasy series of all time.
I am adding it to my Goodreads right now.
Awesome. So it's the first in a trilogy, but the trilogy is the second trilogy in the overarching series. So it's the Elderling series.
Okay.
The first trilogy is the Farseer trilogy, and then this is the second trilogy.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I think maybe there was a book I read by that same author, or maybe I thought I did, and then I didn't because I'm not seeing it on my Goodreads, but I thought I'd read The Assassin's Apprentice before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the first book in the Farseer trilogy.
Did you like that series as well?
Yeah. Yeah. I love the whole lot, but I just happen to love the live ship concept.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then
all right. Looks like I better keep my Goodreads open.
Okay, I should probably do the same.
Oh, and Robin Hobb is indeed a woman.
Yeah.
Right.
He is. All right, I'm going to open my Goodreads also so that I
Good
can also.
I don't want to lose track of all these things I'm going to have to read.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to pick for my first offering.
Ooh,
The Dactyl Hill Squad by Daniel Jose Older.
Ooh,
can you see it?
Yeah.
I can't tell if there's too much glare.
That looks cool. I can see a bunch of dinosaurs, and I can see people riding the dinosaurs, pterodactyl, I assume hence the dactyl.
Ooh, good.
But they're in a city. I'm going to say that it's a middle grade, is it?
Yes.
Yep. So it's about a bunch of kids who are dinosaur pterodactyl riders who are like the squad of like police kind of, they keep the peace and they solve crimes and all of that sort of thing.
That's a really good guess. So I read it a few earlier this year. It is a middle grade, and it's about these children who were orphans in the colored orphanage in New York City in pretend 1863. So the idea is, what if dinosaurs still existed and were domesticated in the 60s? And so people have them as like, they help build and the police use them, but also other people, like the carts, instead of horses, it's dinosaurs and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And of course there is a plot afoot, and these kids' orphanage gets burned down, and they decide to figure out how to overturn the plot that's happening I think New York City in 1863.
Okay, that sounds really cool. I've added that to my Goodreads.
And I believe in the plan there is at least a second one, so I think it might be going to be a trilogy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I loved it. It was super fun. And of course the main girl has an affinity for the big beasts, and so maybe people really want her to be on their side because she can do what she wants.
Very cool. Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So like, I don't even know how we would do points because
how would we judge? That's a really good point, because we both had really good guesses. Do we just like do the teacher thing of like, that's a great guess.
You get a great guess. We're all winners here.
All right. I'm going to hold up this one. I'm going to give you a little clue because this is also a middle grade.
Okay. So I've read one book, I think, by Terry Pratchett. He's hard for me to follow, I thought. The Wee Free Man. Oh, and it is a Discworld novel. Did he write that were not Discworld books?
He wrote a couple that weren't Discworld, but most of his books are Discworld.
I thought so.
Yeah. He also wrote Good Omens with Neil Gaiman.
Oh, that's true.
Discworld, yeah.
Okay, so I'm seeing a couple of young people, and they look like, it kind of looks like they are in the reflection of a giant eyeball.
Oh.
But I'm not totally sure if that's true, or like some kind of gem, or like maybe a witch is looking into a like cauldron or something. Like it looks like there's something on there. And they look like they're afraid and they're about to beat the hell out of someone with a skillet. So I'm going to guess that it's a book. I'm going to have to add this one to my list too. It is a book about a feisty young girl who finds herself, oh, look at her outfit. I'm going to say that they live in the country or something, and she has to milk, I was about to say milk chickens. Milk cows. Like they live in a farm or something, and it kind of looks like the woods. I'm going to say, and what's all that all over the ground? Milk? Mice? Are those little creatures? Oh, okay. So they're about to fight whatever okay, so I'm going to say that these two kids are in the woods and they find out that there is a war going on between ogres and tiny little creatures. And they decide to fight on the side of the tiny little creatures. And it's a magical wood. And that's all I got.
That was such an amazing guess. So you're kind of right, but that would totally be the kind of story that Pratchett would write. But yeah, so I could definitely see a Pratchett book like that. But you had a lot of things were correct. So Tiffany is the little girl, and she discovers that she is a witch. And that's the other person is actually an older lady. She's a Granny Weatherwax. She is a very kind of up the hierarchy witch. And yeah, it's about fairies coming into the Discworld from another world, and Tiffany has to kind of rule the Wee Free Men, which are these little pixie dudes, and she becomes part of their clan, and then she's to kind of go around saving the world. Basically, yeah, it's a bit hard to explain, but I haven't read it for a while as well. But yeah, it's really, really good series. So
do you read any of the other, because I know, or I think I know, that the Discworld kind of like books, there's a lot of them, and there are like subsets of things that kind of cross each other. Is that right?
Yeah.
So do you read any of the like crossing series?
Yeah. I've read quite a few Discworld books. I wouldn't say I've read all of them, but I definitely read like probably more than half of them. So there are a few standalones, and there's no one particular book you have to start with, but there are series within the overall series. So there's the Watch series, which is about City Watch in the main city of the disc. And then there's the Witches series, which is about Granny Weatherwax. And then there's the Tiffany Aching series, which is the middle grade, which is this one. Then there's a few others that are like a trilogy kind of within. Yeah, and then there are standalones, and yeah. But even the series, you wouldn't you wouldn't read it and feel like you get more out of it if you read in order, but you could read it as a standalone and you'd still enjoy it if you like that kind of thing.
Oh. Yeah, I've added that one to my to be read list, of course.
It definitely is. Yeah. If you're not sure about the Discworld, I would suggest this because it is middle grade, so it's a little bit easier to follow. Yeah.
All right, so I can stick with a little bit of, well, actually, this isn't the theme at all. See if you've ever read this one.
Ooh. Family tragic comic.
So it is a.
Oh, it's a graphic novel.
I'm not going to give you too many hints.
Ooh. Okay. I don't know how well I'm going to
there, but that's like a portrait of a family.
Okay. Yep. So I'm going to say that it is kind of like, is it the series of unfortunate events with those orphans, with the 3 children?
That is the thing. Yeah, a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah. So I'm going to say it's like that kind of idea where there's a family, but then something terrible happens and the parents die, and the children have to try to figure out how to exist and get put into foster care, and it's about them trying to kind of survive that. That's my guess.
That's a really good guess. It is nothing like that.
That sounds exactly like what I'd say at school. That's a great idea. I love the way you're
great guess. Yes, but no. Yeah, so this is a graphic memoir for Alison Bechdel. So I don't know if you've ever heard of the Bechdel test.
Yeah.
So she's the woman who kind of came up with that concept. But basically, it's the graphic memoir of her growing up. Her family ran a funeral home, so they called it Fun Home.
Okay.
And her growing up and kind of what it was, because she's a lesbian, and as a girl, her dad really hated any of her non-female gendered behavior. So like when she wanted to wear shorts or didn't want to wear a dress and all that stuff. And it's kind of takes a look at some of the experiences that she had growing up as a young girl, kind of exploring her sexuality with a dad who was really mean to her.
Okay.
And I won't, because it's actually a tragic comic. So not all fun at Fun Home, but it's also an awesome musical.
Oh, right.
And I would also recommend that.
Okay, cool. I've added that to my Goodreads as well. I don't really know very much about, did you say her name is Alison?
Alison Bechdel.
Alison Bechdel. I know the Bechdel test, but that's pretty much all I know. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to learn more about her. That'd be awesome. Cool. That guess was terrible.
I thought that was a really good guess though, because of the picture.
Based on what was there, yeah.
Yeah, and I think like one of the things that, like in this picture, it actually looks like it might be Alison, her 2 younger brothers, and then her mom.
Okay.
Her dad's not even in the picture.
Yeah.
So
it all, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, so gosh, that brought the energy down.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go with this one, which I feel like might be slightly harder.
Ooh, crap. Yep, it is slightly hard. Leanne Moriarty. So I think I read Big Little Lies.
Oh, yep.
Which I don't have any recollection of, so that doesn't help me at all. The Last Anniversary, thinking about what that could be about. And then there is a jar with a growing tree in it. All right. Okay. So I think that this author like I probably shouldn't try too many clues, but I think, it's not, I don't think she's a fantasy author.
No.
Like there are a lot more options if the world can be anything. So I guess that the book is about relationships. And
Love it.
yes, and that the last anniversary refers to the last time that they celebrate someone's death. And that I'm trying to tie in this tree, like what would the tree be about? And that there's a top on it, so that makes it seem like there's an end to growth. And that I don't know.
Yeah, it's really not very helpful cover, is it? Yeah, so that, given what was on the cover, that was an incredible guess. And you got elements really absolutely spot on. So there is a death, and it is about relationships. So Leanne Moriarty writes those sorts of domestic mystery type of books. So there's hidden stuff and secrets that come out, and relationships that maybe aren't what people thought they were, and people that have things about them that you didn't know, and all that sort of stuff. So this is about a young girl or young woman, I should say, who is, it's been a while since I read it. I'm looking at the back to see if I can remind myself. So she used to date someone, and then they broke up. But she always loved going to this island where her ex-partner's aunt owned a property, and there's lots of family properties on the island, and it's a beautiful island, and she always loved it. And then the aunt dies and leaves her the property on the island, and so everyone's completely surprised because she's not even in the family. She's not even dating the person anymore. But she moves out to the property, and then there's all a bunch of other family living on the island as well, and so it's about her kind of building relationships with them, and some secrets come out, and they try to figure out what it was that the aunt was trying to kind of achieve by leaving it to this young woman. And, yeah, it's really good. I really like Leanne Moriarty. I think she writes really well. She's a really good author. So,
awesome. Okay.
That one.
Good to know. Let me see. Moriarty. Yep, it was Big Little Lies, and I gave it 5 stars, which I hardly ever do. So I'm assuming.
There you go.
And it was recommended to me by someone who just told me it was kind of okay. Maybe I'm the only one that really loved it.
I love Big Little Lies. It's my favorite Leanne Moriarty.
Oh yeah, okay.
I've read
now.
So.
Oh, and I also read What Alice Forgot, which I really loved.
Yeah. I keep putting that on TBRs and then not getting to it.
I really liked it a lot. So that one was called, which one?
The Last Anniversary.
Last Anniversary. All right. I see it in Spanish, which isn't going to help me.
Probably not, no.
Remember, because I do not speak or read in Spanish. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, I think I've seen that one because I think she has a number of books that have like a tree on the front.
Okay.
She must like trees.
Yeah, most of her books have that kind of cover that's like, it really doesn't tell you anything.
It's probably really meaningful to her.
Probably, yeah.
All right, so let me see. I'm going to pick, this one is a little bit popular or kind of popular. So I don't know if you've ever read The Killing Moon by N.K. Okay.
I've read now. I'm nearly finished The Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin, so I know the kind of stuff she writes, but no, I've never read that one.
I think this might have been one of her first ones.
Okay.
I could be making that up. I could be totally making that up.
That's okay. Okay.
What?
So there's like a sort of ruined city and a big moon. Okay. So, given that the Broken Earth trilogy is very gritty, I'm going to say this is a very gritty fantasy, sci-fi fantasy, and it's sort of a post-apocalyptic type fantasy. So it's sort of something has happened to do with the heavens, like the planetary alignment or something has happened, and it's caused some kind of natural catastrophe on the planet that I don't know if it's Earth, but whatever planet it's on, and that has started some kind of like post-apocalyptic, like Fury Road, Mad Max kind of, where everything's or a lot of the planet is kind of dead and dying, and they have to try and survive without many natural resources. And stuff. That's my guess.
That's a good guess. Again, I don't think it was completely off though. So, this is the first in the Dream Blood series, and it takes place in a city kind of like Cairo, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's a city that has been walled off and has its own kind of like little utopia, and the other things around are not going as well. So kind of like what happens in the post-apocalyptic kinds of dystopian things. Yeah. But are people who are able to help you cross over into the afterlife while you're asleep, and the energy that you generate when you do that is used to fuel other people's like health. Like it's a kind of a medicine / drug. And the way that they maintain peace is to reap people who are bad in the society and use the energy from those people for the rest of society. And of course, there's a plot and a secret because it's kind of a dystopian kind of a setup. So of course you have to figure out, oh no, my utopia is utopia I thought it was. And yes, outside of the city that are starving to death.
Okay.
So it's the first one, and I haven't read the other two yet.
Right. So have you read the Broken Earth trilogy?
I think I read the first one, and it's on my list to reread the first one. And then I just bought like the little box set of the 3. Mm-hmm. So oh no, that's the Inheritance trilogy. Oh, yeah. Right, that's a separate one.
Yeah.
So I don't think I've read the Broken Earth one. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's it sort of sounds actually well, I mean, not similar at all, and not similar at all, but quite similar, if that makes sense. So same kind of theme of like things not being what they seem, and there being that sort of secret stuff that's maybe not as good as you think it would be, and that there's a lot of I don't know if I'm describing it. I find it really difficult to. I've really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, but it's really intense, so I can only read little bits at a time. Yeah, it's amazing though. I don't know how her brain works. I'm constantly just like, how do you think of these things? This is insane. What is going on?
Well, and I think that her writing is so dense, and like the world building is so dense that sometimes it takes a while to get into the world that she's kid, you know, and then it's like, okay, I got to figure stuff out. So this book, I read it as part of a buddy read with an Instagram buddy. And we talked about it, and some folks were kind of comparing this one to other things that she's written. And this one, they said, felt more like, because it was earlier in her work, it didn't feel as like complicated, I guess, some of her other things. That this one, somebody said that it feels like she took an idea and set it on top of a world that we kind of already knew versus really creating a world, which is kind of what she's known for now.
Yeah.
I didn't have that point of comparison, and I'm not very good at that sort of like comparing style differences and stuff between authors. What subject do you teach in school?
Well, I was teaching art. Yeah, which was super fun. But I'm an elementary school teacher, so I was teaching art as a subject, but yeah, I'm a generalist. So next year I'll be teaching grade 6 for 2 days a week. So that's the last year of primary school.
You'll be teaching what?
Grade 6. So the last year of elementary school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or primary school, as we call it.
Yeah, we have, so some places in the States, 6th grade is the last grade of elementary school, and in some states, it's the 1st grade of middle school.
Oh, yeah, you have middle school, don't you? Yeah, I'd forgotten.
Yeah. Well, some places have middle school, some places have junior high school.
Man. Well, Queensland, their last year of primary school, elementary school, is grade 7. So they have an extra year in primary school. But that's just the one state. But yeah, everyone else goes up to grade 6.
Well, and it makes it hard because, like, my older daughter, we lived somewhere that 5th grade was the last year of elementary school, and then we moved somewhere where 6th grade was the last year. So all of the like hype with her school about, you're moving, you're so grown up now.
Yeah.
And then she was like, wah wah.
Oh, that is annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, it stinks.
Weird.
There's not really a great time to split kids up anyway. It's all hard.
Yeah, every transition is difficult. So.
That's right. I think that's true for sure. Plus hormones and stuff. Gross.
Yes. And it seems to be starting younger and younger. I
think that's true. It does seem to be true. And also there's just so much more like exposure to things because of the internet and stuff. So
yeah,
all related to each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so weird because I can see my hair coming down and it's on one side in the screen and it's on the other side on my actual head.
Yeah, so you reach for. Yeah, I was doing that before. I was trying to put this hair.
So bizarre. It's weird to me because it seems like it would be more like a mirror, but apparently technology is beyond my understanding.
I don't know which book. Okay. All right. I'm going to go with this one.
Ooh, I've never even heard of this author. Okay. Ben Aronovich. Rivers of London. Okay. And so I can't totally make it out, but it looks like maybe that's a city, densely populated kind of city. And those red things are roads. Ooh, does that say Convent Garden?
Covent Garden.
Covent Garden. Okay. And then all those words look like maybe streets and buildings. And then if we were in person, I'd be able to look at it. What are those things like? Is that a tombstone and a shovel? Okay, that's a policeman's hat and a witch's hat. And that looks like a tombstone and a shovel. Okay. Okay, and then the thing that's in the red at the top, yeah, a baby?
Oh, yeah, yep.
Okay, that is super weird.
Yes.
Rivers of London. Okay. I'm going to guess that the book, I could just say that I think it's going to be exactly like the Darker Shades of Magic. Have you read that series?
No, I haven't.
Oh, well, then I could just guess that whole plot and you won't even know I'm stealing it. I'm going to say.
From what I've heard, I would say that there's similarities, definitely.
It is similar? Okay. So then I'm going to combine the idea of Darker Shade of Magic with Jack the Ripper and say that because it looks really bloody.
Yeah.
And there's a tombstone. So I'm going to say that there is a magical being who is targeting women on the streets of London and sending their bodies down the river.
That was an amazing guess. And
I do think all the guesses are amazing.
Yeah, I'm very kind. Especially like I haven't picked particularly easy covers, so
I don't, but I think if you don't have any idea, all the covers are hard.
Yeah, that's true. So there were elements of what you said that were very spot on. So it's sort of about the idea that there is that ghosts and supernatural beings exist, and so this police officer is. One day he is just doing his job and then he is told there's a murder in Covent Garden and he's told to go and canvass the witnesses. And he realizes at some point that he is in fact interviewing a ghost. And then he's sort of thrown into this world where it suddenly turns out that there's this whole part of the sort of organization within the Metropolitan Police Force that are like supernatural police. And so they police the supernatural part of London, and which includes the rivers being having their own personalities and being sort of personified by people and stuff like that. So yeah, so it is definitely a murder mystery investigation, and that's, I think that it's, like I said, I haven't actually read the V. Schwab books, but from what I've heard, I would say that there are some similarities in there. But yeah,
I love the Darker Shade of Magic books and don't really remember a lot of the details of them. I don't remember if there was a murder, but of course there is that whole like something's not what you thought it was.
Yeah.
But this one also, like your description. Oh, go ahead.
He learns that he has, not only is he like has access to the spiritual realm, but he learns that he's kind of got extra powers in that area. So he has control over. He can do stuff and force the rivers to go back to normal and stuff.
Ooh, that sounds good. I've added that to my list.
Yes, it's very good.
It kind of reminds me too, like your description. Have you ever read the Lockwood and Co. series by Jonathan Stroud?
No, I have heard that they're really good.
So good. Well, and that, I think that's middle grade. I'm trying to think of how old those kids are, but in that story, kids are able to see ghosts and spirits and stuff, but as you get old, you lose the ability. Okay. And London's basically being overrun by ghosts, and kids are basically employed to hunt them down.
Okay.
And Lockwood is a young boy, young man who runs his own private ghost hunting agency, and most of the other kids work for adults who are in charge of them, and so he's kind of like the renegade because he works for himself. But the main character, he's kind of the main character, but the point of view is from a young girl who goes to work for him. Mm-hmm. And they're all really skilled at hunting ghosts and stuff.
Sounds really cool.
It was so good.
I'll have to look into it. Along
Now I
with
have to read
the Club, which I must read as well.
And I can't vouch for Schwab in all of the books she's written, but I really liked the Darker Shade of Magic books.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I think we have time because I know that I only told you I would force you to be doing this. So I have
one
two.
More. Well, I think you do one more because I'm honestly getting a bit hungry, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's funny. I think we only have time for one more. Yeah. And I'm trying to decide which one I should do. I think I remember the plot of this one the best, so I'm gonna.
Okay.
This one.
Ooh, that looks cool. Oh, okay. Okay. So, because they've got the triangle in the middle and then they've got two different female character silhouettes walking in the opposite direction, but then the windows are different as well. I'm going to say about this character, it's kind of like that whole sliding doors concept. So there's like this character who at some point she reaches a turning point where one decision would lead her down one path of life and the other decision would lead her down the other path of life. And so it gives you both possible life paths. That's my guess.
I love sliding doors books, first of all, let me just tell you. And I'm also wondering if the reason we call them sliding doors is because of the movie, or was it called that before that movie?
Yeah, I don't know, because I thought of the movie when I said it, but I have no idea if the movie...
If it was a concept before that?
Yeah.
I'm going to look that up later.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. And I'm adding...
That's a really good guess. But
totally wrong.
Totally wrong. Because it's two different girls. So okay. This is it's a YA book, and there are two girls who it's their senior year of high school, and it's the summer before the senior year of high school, or right before. And one of them, every summer, they have always spent their whole summer together being best friends. And one of them gets the opportunity to go to an elite dance academy for the summer.
Oh, right.
That's the one with the bun on her head.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one gets the opportunity to be more involved with the church program over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of about how they navigate their best friendship, even though they don't get to spend that last summer together.
Okay. Cool. Sorry. Hang on. Sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. We have a robot vacuum cleaner, and he has a schedule as to when I always personify him and call him a he, but it's not gendered. But anyway, we have him on a schedule, and Rowan was just turning it off so it wouldn't interrupt our conversation.
Oh, that's very nice of him.
Yeah, he is very nice.
Thank you, partner.
Yeah. Partner.
I am from Texas, actually, so it totally works.
Oh, there you go.
Partner.
Well, that sounds
if we were doing points, how do you think we did if we were doing points?
Well, it is really hard because, like I kept saying, your guesses are amazing, but I think you probably had more elements correct than I did. So I think you won. But yeah, I kind of, as much as that last one, what you described sounded interesting, I kind of like my version better.
Right? I think that's true. Like the first two that I guessed, I was like, oh, well, I want to hear my story now.
Yeah, is that what it is? Maybe we should go and write our stories.
We should. I think writing would be really hard. Are you a writer?
I'm trying to be.
Well, I think it would be really hard. My main problem is discipline. I'm not super disciplined about sitting down and actually doing it. Yeah. That's
I can be
probably also hard.
apparently about making YouTube videos, but not.
Well, I'm having a hard time with that too for my 31 days of not
Yeah,
recording anything.
31 days is a lot of time.
It is a lot. But,
Yeah.
you know, this counts for one of them.
That's true. Yay!
And I bet I can talk some friends into joining me for other ones too when I can't record anything.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be
That's what
people.
I'm going to do.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good.
Well, thank you so much, Mel, and
Thank
for taking
you.
time out of your morning on a
It's been
Sunday.
fun. That's okay. It's been fun. We could
Good.
do it again sometime. Maybe not
Awesome. That would be
again, but
great. We could find these are the only books that have any clues on them whatsoever, so we might have to pick a different game.
pick a different. Yeah, that's okay. We can pick a different game, and maybe we
Awesome.
could buddy read something sometime next year as well.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be awesome. All right, let's be in touch then.
Okay, sounds great.
Have a good breakfast.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
So just end. Okay, end.
I think so, yeah. And